Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm hoping this is one of my final videos about the virus situation, and I just wanted to do this video because I'm really so sick of it, so sick of what's going on with all this. And, you know, if you follow astrology, like, let's say you do, let's just say hypothetically, let's play devil's advocate, quote unquote, even though I sort of believe in it. So, let's just say you follow astrology. There's been a lot of talk about we're in the age of air now instead of earth. If you want to metaphorically put this in a political sense, you know, there's going to be a lot of fluidity and kind of like water, sort of, but just more, just all over the place. Like things are going to be more chaotic in certain ways, in certain situations. It's just what people have predicted. And you have to find your space, you have to find your peace and your foundation, which is way more difficult in a situation like where you don't have ground. You see what I'm saying? Like with Earth. So, I don't really take that necessarily 100% seriously, but I do see it as kind of a way to think of things in terms of like working around things like air does, where air goes around, right? Like, for example, right now, occasionally I'll drive to a county that does not have a mask mandate to work out because I do not like wearing a mask when I work out. Am I a bad person for this? I don't know. I have the full, I've taken the Maxine Waters. This is my new code that I'm using for a certain thing that I can't talk too much about on YouTube. So I like these codes. I think they're funny. I've taken the full thing, so maybe I'm less of a risk or whatever. It's like, but I do go to the gym, without a mask on. That's just my thing, or I'll go shopping in these other counties. So I think this is kind of a metaphor for a lot of things that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to work around things in this new age that we live in. And this concept didn't really hit me until today because I was thinking, well, why do I drive 30 miles to go work out a couple, maybe once a week or once every couple weeks just to be in a gym that I don't have to do these things in? Or, why do I look for places, specific things that I can do still, on a reasonable level in life? Why do I have to like do these workarounds for everything? Well, it's just because that is what they say. That is what these people are saying about how our life is going to have to be. We have to work around things to be happy, and we don't have the normal. The old normal is over. I know I talked about that in the original video, but in a certain way it is. And we can't, if you want to live any semblance of a fulfilling life, you have to think of things. You have to be innovative and think of other ways to do things and other ways to work around things. And that might mean in the future, it might mean people might have to move to a different county for to be happier. They might have to move to a red state that they never thought they would want to move to because they disagree with most of the stuff, but they don't want to do certain things that are required of them by the government, and they'll be happier in maybe this like kind of oasis city that's blue in a red state or whatever. That they're still, it's just a lot of things that you have to work around. You have to work around in this new age that we're living in. We have to try to create some stability, even though there's so much chaos and disorder, and it's going to be a difficult task. But if you want to live in this world, in this in this reality, that you have to do that. And there's just there might be it's just like you have to be flexible. It's just a flexibility thing that you have to look forward to having to do. So maybe there's a nightclub that you disagree with some policy and you want to play a show, but they have this policy, so you'll decide, no, we're not going to do that club. We're going to do this other club. Or these people, this situation is just going to be a very tricky situation to be in. It's just like the whole remote work thing. It's like, these companies made their choice. They wanted to do this. I just had an interview at a place that is not remote at all. I really do want the job, of course, but I don't know if it's going to pay enough, so that's probably why I won't accept it. But it's like, yeah, you'll have situations, you'll have pockets of different places that have, more semblance of what you want, what was before. It's going to be like that, but who knows what it's going to be like otherwise. And I don't think it's going to be like, if we're talking about a different age that we're going to live in, that we're living in now, and it's not even related to the virus, it's more of a philosophical statement about all this stuff. It's going to be like that, where there's a patchwork, kind of different kinds of areas and different kinds of things that are happening. It might be a little more disorganized, a little bit less centralized in the future. I could see that being the case in our society, and that's kind of a more anarchist approach to things in a way. But this is kind of what I think. This is where a lot of things are headed in the future, if it doesn't turn into some authoritarian hellhole in our world, of course, which I think is also a possibility. But of course, I think enough people, I see a very positive, healthy skepticism and resistance against certain things. And does not mean that the actual things themselves should be resisted. Just the fact that people are skeptical makes me more optimistic. People are questioning things. So that said, I've talked about the situation, for current crisis we're in on YouTube for quite a long time, and it's not gonna, I see it as it's going to be problematic and difficult for a while, if not for good, or if if it does ever like subside in some way, whatever that means. There's still going to be something else coming up, in the future that'll be chaotic and all that. So, but as far as this current crisis goes, I'm going to really try to shift my focus to making myself happy, trying to do those workarounds to certain things that I like, certain things I'm passionate about, trying to get the music thing together again. And, it's been exhausting, and I have fatigue, as I called it, C virus fatigue last year. Oh, you have COVID fatigue. I have fatigue from all this stuff and talking about it over and over again, because I'm just like, what's it going to accomplish anymore? It's like you can't really. And I was listening to a lot of Gordon White, who is a chaos magic practitioner, podcaster, and I was thinking about this podcast he did about the projections for 2021, this astrological thing. This is totally new age, off your fucking rocker kind of woo kind of stuff, but the basic premise is, you have to work around things. You have to make your dreams have to be reality instead of your goals. Your dreams. What do you dream about rather than what your specific goals are? A little more flexibility within those dreams rather than goals. I want to be famous. I want to be a rock star. I want to have a harem of redheads, and have a castle and a Testarossa and a 68 Chevy Impala, and there's a lot of stuff people want in their life, but it's like maybe some of those dreams could be a reality still. Now that I'm a friend, it's like, some of those things could be a reality in some way, in some form. Maybe the form is different. I think this is what they were trying to say. The form is different. The feeling of having those things, whatever this turns out to be, is the same though. So maybe it won't be touring the world with a epic metal band, but maybe it will. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, our reality is different now. I truly believe we are in a new age of something. It's of cataclysm, obviously, in part, but it hasn't really gotten super violent yet, thankfully. But I mean, in America, as far as like, there's not huge like gun battles between warring factions that believe in one thing or the other. Of course, that could happen. Hopefully not. Hopefully things will, find their equilibrium eventually in the next few months or years. But my point being is that you have to find yourself and find your place in this world that we are living in right now. And for me, it's difficult to discuss all these things over and over again. It's taxing. Now, what do I want to have happen with the virus stuff? I think, like I said before, I think there should be, instead of mandates, we should have incentives. To eliminate all mandates, increase incentives. That's just the way it goes. People, if tomorrow they said you can make $5,000 by getting the shot, do you think that? Yeah, I think people would line up around the fucking, the around the. It'd be like that Hands Across America, like the lines of thousands of people lining up to get it tomorrow if they did that. If Biden said that, no mandates, just $5,000 for each person. Of course, inflation would be a problem and all that stuff, but I'm just saying. I think another thing that should be done is a certain person needs to be fired, and that guy's name is Anthony Fauci. And hopefully I'm not saying any medical claims in this video, so I'm just saying I think he needs to be fired. I think he's been very divisive, very evasive about certain things. Obviously about some laboratory things, just like that Sepultura lyric, the infamous Sepultura lyric from Dead Embryonic Cells. Just look it up. The infamous, that lyric, in Fauci, Anyways, great song. I might listen to that on the treadmill today. So I think that's the second thing that needs to happen. Incentives, fire the guy, release transparency, release numbers, release why the decisions are made, and apologize to the American people about just like all this bullshit and all this, just like this backtracking and going all over the place with all this stuff. Just apologize and say, we're sorry, we fucked up, we didn't know this would happen or this would happen. Just have a public announcement, public service. I'm sorry. Just Biden should come out and say, I'm sorry. People should say they're sorry. Even Trump, you just come out and say, we're sorry that we fucked up. We were wrong about this stuff. This happened and we're sorry. We care about you, your health. They really fucking do. I don't really think they do. I mean, the fact that McDonald's is not like, that's the silent pandemic is, obesity, heart disease kills millions every year, and they're not calling for shaming McDonald's CEOs like, oh my God, you're killing people. They're not, that's a voluntary choice people make too, they're allowed to make that choice. I don't know, but yeah, that should be done. There's other things, like the liability protections for the certain, Maxine Waters companies. Big Sharma, right? I'm using some code words, of course. Maybe peel them back a little bit. Say, if there's a certain amount of people that claim this thing, maybe they should get a monetary compensation. We'll admit it. We'll admit wrongdoing. Just all of it's a pillar of 5 different things I think the government should do about the virus, and I think it's just the best way to go forward. I don't think that this whole like divisiveness thing, it's just like being disciplined. It's just like corporal punishment's the only way to get a child in line. And Biden comes from that war on crime, war on drugs mentality. So of course he's gonna do these mandates, and he has this in his head. We're gonna get him, Not understanding is that exact fear of that fist is why they're not getting the thing. That's the whole thing. We're scared of Australia happening to America. What's been happening in Australia? We're scared of this whole like idea of this like, this dystopia, dictatorship among billionaires that they're gonna, spy on you and have all this stuff against you. They're scared that this whole thing is for that or being used for that. That is the fear. And by following these 5 steps, like fire that motherfucker first, just say, yeah, he's outlived his usefulness, hire Zubin Damani or someone like that. Fire that dude first. Apologize to the American people. Provide incentives, big incentives, not little Oh, you can get a what? You can get a burger and fries. De Blasio. Oh, yeah. Fuck you. You know, if you're really serious about this, you would follow this. That's why I don't believe. That's why the conspiracy stuff is almost more believable at this point, because they're not doing the positive things. They're not positively reinforcing people to do these things. They're just saying, we're gonna bet you you're not gonna be able to do this. So yeah, if you want to believe in that stuff, you know, if you want to believe in the mandates and all these ideas, that's up to you. I don't think that's the way forward. I don't think it's ever worked. You know, you look at the Abu Ghraib, or what was it? Some of the, you know, interrogations of terrorists, and the ones that went well, that they had good intel from, are usually the ones where the interrogator made friends with them. I just watched this thing about Waco, and Waco happened in part because they were just kept pushing and pushing Koresh and his followers, and that's what resulted is he was, you know, they said, we're not a, you know, what do they say, you know, it's just, this is not a siege or whatever. It's just like all this stuff, and then as the tanks are breaking the Mount Carmel complex, tear gas is going in there and all this stuff. And I was watching this David Thibodeau, who's one of the survivors. He's talking about this stuff, and this is applicable to what's going on now. I highly recommend you look up C-SPAN. David Thibodeau is from '99. Absolutely engrossing commentary about he was doing a, you know, interview about his, or it was like a press conference about his book at this bookstore, and these people were asking questions. He was giving his side of the story. It was really fascinating. So I don't think that this is the way forward. This is not the way that things are going to go. And maybe part of me is grateful that people are resisting and people are standing up and saying no to this shit, but it's like, why do we even have to go there? Why do we have to have this kind of conflict? Why can't we do something different with this? Why can't we just stop this madness on both sides? You know, if just stop. You know, it just, like, look at I believe the science. Look at the science, okay? Look at the science. If it does determine this, don't distrust all scientists. At the same time, be skeptical too. Like Zubin Damani is totally spot on. He's like, you know, he's talking about the boost thing. You know, he's like, I don't know. You know, he's like, that's a moderate will say, I think it's too early to talk about the boost, right? That seems like big Sharma money. But at the same time, the Maxine Waters might be safer than these conspiracy people are talking about, obviously. And that's kind of where I'm stand. That's where I stand. But I side with the right wing on this stuff, because the other side has gone so insane. But I'm positioning in the middle now about it, because I just don't, you know, it's like, where else am I going to go? Neutral in the middle, though, you know. It's like, I will do my thing. I'm gonna drive to other counties and work out, or go grocery shopping, so I don't have to wear the fucking diaper. You know, I'm gonna do that, and maybe go to shows. I might even start martial arts in another county, you know, because I don't want to wear that thing when I'm working out, and want to start martial arts again. You know, go to shows in other counties, you know, and that have, you know, they're even actually counties here that have the mandates that DeSantis and Abbott have. There's counties that are proposing that and already done some of that stuff. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe, you know, or Iowa, you know, they have, you know, they're standing against this current Biden thing. So I don't know, you know, it's tempting to just like do things in this way, because it's just gone so crazy. And, you know, that might seem like a right-wing Republican crazy thing, crazy inadvertent murderer thing to do that I do, but I can't take it. I have to have some normalcy in my life. This is a mental health thing. The reason why I drive to Rock County, Wisconsin to fucking work out at a fitness club is because my mental health cannot take wearing a fucking mask at the gym when you're, you know, there's no capacity limits either in this county, so you can say, oh, you're murdering people, it still leaks through, oh my god, you know, you can micromanage everything with this shit. But it's like, for some reason, that one thing just looks like, oh, we're doing something, see, we're doing something, right, we have a mandate, you know. You don't really have any fucking mandates. That's the only mandate. I went to the comic book store, half the people weren't even wearing the fucking thing. You know, I took mine off at the comic book store, nobody was wearing it. Or going to the fucking gym, you know, even the gyms here. I'm one of my gyms, or one of the gyms that I go to, I was peeking in there, a guy had it off, you know, he was on the thing. It was hanging down. Maybe it was just like, in case someone like asked him about, oh yeah, I'll put it back up, you know. So it's just so stupid. Just the rhetoric and all this bullshit. So one of my whole point is this video is that I'm gonna probably not do any more videos about the subject for quite a long time, because I'm totally burnt out by it. It's influenced my life advertently. I've lost friends over this whole these conversations, because I don't know. I don't know why they choose not to be friends with me anymore, but that's their choice, you know. Other friends I disagree with, and they're still friends with me. Whoa, lo and behold, people can disagree and be friends. See, I give those people props, you know. Those people that actually still agree, you know, still they may disagree with my perspective on things, but they're still friends with me, you know. And I try not to talk about that stuff too much, but they know my position. As long as you respect my position and you say, well, you know, if you just say I'm retarded and don't know anything, oh, you're the crazy wacko, Matt. You know, I mean, as long as you respect it, you know, that's one thing. Of course, I feel like specific people have kind of allied against me, of course, like a former friend of mine and his friend. He's like, he had to choose the side that he wanted to be on. He's in that camp, you know. He had to choose sides. Now, particular people that have particular points of views because of their mental health challenges, however, let's see how it goes, you know. There was a particular family member who's passed that I was always mad about. Like, I always wanted to prove myself to him. Now, I'm not going to say who this is. He's no longer with us. I felt like he was better than me. I was like, oh my God, he's better than me. I'm like, he looks down on me so much, because he used to kind of look down on me and stuff, and, you know, kind of condescend and patronize me. But at the end of the day, at the end of, you know, what happened, what turned out, and I feel bad talking about this because I do love him and respect him as a person, you know, I still do, even though he's passed on in many ways. It was an influence where, like, I wanted to prove myself in life, but I would outshine him or surpass him in some way. But the way that it ended with him, I actually did, unfortunately, you know. Unfortunately, I did surpass him, and I think I've outlived him now too. It's sad, you know, when you look at that kind of thing, and you're just like, but that's kind of the same thing with these people, these so-called friends that don't want to talk to me anymore because of my positions on things or whatever. They just don't, they can't stand, their mental health can't stand talking to me. You know, it's like, well, they have their opinions, but, you know, it's like, what are these limitations that are preventing them from being friends with me? Why can't they be friends with me? Well, we have philosophical differences about life. We have, you know, and I think, oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. I mean, these people are so much better than me, and they're gonna. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, well, I can't think like that, because for all I know, I may be more successful than they ever will be. And if that happens, then, well, I don't know if they're gonna come crawling back and kiss my ass. It's the same with exes. It's like, well, I was just reading a text. So, it was my friend. He said, "What do you think of that new Tai Chi Iron Maiden album?" It's kind of I just thought it was funny, but so, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with these people, and, you know, it's like, there is part of me that's like, I gotta be better than them. I gotta get more girls than them. You know, it's like sometimes, but sometimes, like I'm trying to say, it's like with people that made fun of you as a kid, or put you down. It's like you realize they're like, I had a lot of people that put me down as a kid, and it's like they're making fun of me. It's like they could come from a broken home, and they get curb stomped, and they go to prison, and they're a crack addict now on the street. It's like I put this person's value above mine. What was wrong with me? So yeah, it's a very difficult mess, and I've done a lot of stupid stuff. I acknowledge that I've said a lot of bad things. I called my old roommate Corona F word, just because it came out of me. That was when I was moving out of his place. And I don't never use that word, but it's just like I started using it just as a kind of an ironic way, I guess, just to call things, just as a more extreme way of insulting someone. And I feel bad about that, but at the same time, it's at the same time, he was making me move like in a day, and I didn't even have. He was just like going crazy about me getting out of there. He wanted all my stuff out in 24 hours. So it's like, dude, I mean, can't you? I'm living here. I'm not gonna just because your attic has a couple extra things doesn't mean you fucking just. It was insane, and he was just going off on me and stuff. It's just like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? I was calm, but that when I dropped something that I was trying to move, and it like went all over the place, I got fucking pissed, so I lashed out. He was like, "Oh, people could hear me. People don't pull up with that language in this neighborhood." Yeah, whatever, dude. But yeah, people that want to, what was this video about? I don't know. People that want to like, put me down and stuff, and they think they can't be friends with me. They think, oh, I'm so different, all this stuff. It's like, well, sometimes people don't realize that they're the ones who haven't changed for the better. They're the ones who are immature. They're the ones that are being shitty. They're the ones that will suffer consequences from their karmic, position in the world. That's the whole thing. I don't know. This is originally an announcement that I'm no longer going to do any corona videos on this channel, but it's become something quite different. So that's how that goes with these people. Do I have to think about, a girl that I dated in high school that that totally like fucked me up emotionally, that later died? Why do I have to think about that stuff? Why do I have to think, oh my God, well, she got her comeuppance then, oh my God, it's like, why do I have to think that stuff? It's terrible, Why do I have to think, well, people that hurt other people are hurting people. They're hurt themselves, including me, when I hurt people. It's like, that's the way it goes. Hurt people, right? So these people that are so, but I'm just going to put it this way. So I'm just going to conclude with this closing statement. When push comes to shove, if I'm, going at all cylinders, and just pushing the pedal to the metal and really kicking ass and really not giving a fuck about what people think, and that breakthrough, not the other kind of breakthrough that I talk about in these videos, that breakthrough happens, I'm hopefully not going to be thinking about these people that have fucked me over or been assholes to me, right? These people that have ditched me as a friend, right? But if I will, there is no way, and this sounds satanic, LaVeyan way, but like, there's no way at the end of the day, if I hear they're still stuck in life in some bad job, or haven't had a girlfriend in 5 years, or, because they're scared of it, harassing women by flirting with them, fucking idiotic shit, or whatever, like, whatever position they are in life, if they fail, and if they fail and I'm successful, these people that have fucked me over, I can't help. I can't help it. I'm an asshole about this, but I'll laugh. I'll laugh at these people and I will smile. Like, yeah, great, you know. But that's only accomplished by being positive, you know, and in many ways, not giving into the negativity that people have. And you know, that's been my whole thing, is just being sucked into this whole crisis and just being like, oh my God, you know, all these things are gonna happen. Oh my God, you know. I have my position to go from, you know, I have my workarounds in life. You know, I'm going to get more into just different things that I want to do in my life, and I'm not going to let that get in the way. And I'm not going to let things get in the way. if there's a block, if there's a fork in the road, if there's like a rock, a huge rock in the middle of the road, you go around it, right? That's what you have to do in life. That's what I have to do, you know. And I'm going to try to do it the best I can. You know, I thought about, honestly, I thought about ending it all next year. I mean, I'll just be totally straight up. I know I shouldn't be laughing about it, but see, this is similar to a thing that I said when I was 16, 17 years old, because I said, if I'm still a virgin at 18, I'll be ending it all on my 18th birthday. I'm sorry for talking about such triggering things, but it's true. That's what some things I used to say. And needless to say, I failed pretty badly in both, you know, both those things. But, you know, that's one of the things. I'm just going to stop doing that. I'm going to try to work around these things and try to drive around that rock in the middle of the road in life. You know, that's what you have to do. And people might have, you know, I used to have this friend. I think I talked about this in a video last year as well. I used to have this friend. Now we're friends on Facebook, but this friend that I was like really depressed about him ditching me as a friend, and you know, just being what I thought was being a dick to me and stuff. And I was all depressed about it. Oh my God, oh, you know. And the next year after that was my most social year ever. It was 2009. Went out, flirted with a lot of women, and I had like fucking immediately had 10 more friends to make up for that. Some of the people I don't talk to now because they're just like kind of like wingmen, but you know, it was like some of them I do though too. So that's one of the things to think about with that. You know, it's like, oh, friends are ditching me and I'm all depressed about it. And it's like, do I really value them as friends either? I don't know. Maybe I didn't value them enough in some ways, and I needed to nurture that, you know. But it went, you know, philosophical differences in life. You know, if you think that someone should never flirt with a woman because you're harassing them, or if you believe that being mad at someone and deleting them on Facebook and then re-adding them a day later, and that's acceptable behavior among friends, you think that's a friend? Fuck that. That's not a friend. You know, there's one thing to disagree with that lifestyle about the previous thing, but that's not a friend. A friend's not going to fucking delete you and then add you again like every couple of years. Like, because they get mad at you one time, and it's just like, that's chaotic. I mean the specific person I'm talking about did grow up in a really weird household and situation. And let's just be honest. And, you know, that's how that went. But you know, it's like, I'm not gonna fucking, you know, I'm not gonna. I have friends, right? I have friends that I haven't even scratched the surface with sometimes. Like I'm thinking of a friend right now. We hang out every once in a while, but I don't hang out with them that much. Maybe I'd get sick of them or something. But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like certain people that I know that I've, you know, hung out with, that I have friends, you know. So these friends that have ditched me, maybe I don't need them anymore. You know, maybe it's all for the best in a way. It's like maybe they were, you know, dare I say, they were holding me back. You know, that other friend I mentioned that ditched me, that later added me, that we were friends on Facebook again. He actually used to say that a certain friend was holding me back. Like, that's fucking, people with limiting beliefs and limitations in life hold you back. Now, people can have limiting beliefs and limitations in life that they don't project on other people. Because I have plenty of friends that are like that. They just kind of, but that's acceptance. That's like, they're in their position and they're not going to judge you about your position as long as you don't judge them. Because, I had a little quarrel with one of my friends the other day because I pointed out some of his hypocrisy about the CV as well. So, but I'm still friends with him. We made up. It's never gotten as heated as it was years back either with him. It was weird. Certain situations. I accept him. I don't agree with his lifestyle. It's not a sexual thing, by the way, that I'm talking about. When I say his lifestyle, I don't agree with necessarily with his lifestyle or what he does or what his goals are and stuff. But it's like I do, do certain activities with him and some people. It's like, well, we're friends in these activities. We're friends otherwise. I'm not going to judge you for your life. That's what you do. That's your choice. And you're not pushing things on me. Because he's never pushed things on other people. Whereas other friends that aren't talking to me anymore are always pushing things. They're always judging people and saying, this person is crazy. Yeah, he keeps yelling about his ex-girlfriend. Yeah, it's a gossip fucking hound, But one of my former friends is a gossip hound. Are you a woman, dude? Sorry to say, but, or... the other friend, he used to gossip about him all the time. I am sad about losing friends, but at the same time, it's like, sometimes people become so toxic, and maybe I'm the same way, and maybe that's why people don't want to talk to me. They think I'm toxic or whatever, but I'll show them motherfuckers. I will succeed. I'm going to win. Bigger and better. Sound like Donald Trump. Mars and Leo, by the way, just like Donald Trump, and Gemini too. Astrology, I'm gonna win bigger and better than anybody ever imagined I would. That's all.